highlight the incredible abilities and achievements of the disabled throughout Jamaica through our extraordinary talent exposure, mentoring, and uplifting corner with your host Tracy-Ann Williams and the radical Robert Blake. This and every Monday at 5 to 6 p.m. on 491.7 FM. Call us at 876-610-8104. That's 876-610-8104. Disability Beyond Borders, breaking all barriers.
Purchase your tracks today.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome again to Disability Beyond Border. It's another Monday. Maybe it's about third Monday. You know, the time is going so fast. It's very interesting that we actually look a bit over half the month because we passed the 15th already. Not true. I tell you, the time it seems to be going so fast, but nevertheless, we have a lot in store. And without any further ado, I'm going to see if we're able to catch up with your lawyer. What do you need to know about the Disability Act and you? The one that was passed 2014, but come inactive sometime closer to this time and so forth. And the reality is that you and I, as persons, living with disability, we have rights, but we need to know our rights and what is out there in what we call the Disability Act. Now, we have Sir Williams, Lawyer Williams, that will be educating us some more, empowering us, because you know they say knowledge is power. That way we can understand our rights as persons living with disability. Just a recap from last week.
He's
He did.
online, Mr. Blake,
Oh,
and
Sir
we
Williams,
want,
how are you,
we
sir?
want to give him all the
Yes,
time
I'm
that
good,
he
sir.
can get.
I'm very good. I'm
Awesome.
very good.
I wonder what you have in store for us. I was going to give them a quick recap until we connect with you.
Yes, okay. I'm pretty much ready. I just want to focus now on section 37. I want to I want to focus on section 37 of the Disabilities Act of 2014.
Right.
And it speaks to employment. You know what? Everybody wants to be employed, whether you are a disabled person or a non-disabled person. And when you are employed, persons want to know that the terms and conditions of their employment are okay, satisfactory, suitable, comfortable in terms of salary, in terms of your benefits, in terms of accommodation, and in terms of the workspace. So what does section 29 says? It says an employer shall not discriminate against a person with a disability who is otherwise qualified for employment. So what it is saying at the outset is that anyone who is an employer, whether in the business sector, the private sector, the public sector, the commercial sector, manufacturing, agriculture, even in our homes, we are employing helpers or gardeners or anyone who is going to do business for us, right? It says an employer shall not discriminate against a person with a disability who is otherwise qualified for employment. So as long as the person is qualified for the job, then you should not discriminate them primarily, solely, and exclusively on the basis that they are a person with a disability. It goes on to say that you must also not discriminate them in terms of employment afforded to that employee. You must not discriminate them in relation to opportunities afforded to the employee. For example, promotion, transfer, training, or the receipt of any other benefit. What does this mean? It means that if a person with a disability is employed to an employer, the employer should not exclude that person with a disability from getting a promotion, from getting an increased salary, from accessing training. Suppose you have training for your staff, and most companies would have training for their staff, and training is very, very important to uplift and upgrade the the qualifications and the experience and competence of their staff. New things are developing in terms of technology, in terms of access to information, and in terms of improving the product quality. So, employers, if you're listening, please remember you cannot, under the law, Section 29, prevent or impose any terms and or conditions of the employment to say, well, because this person has a disability, you can't promote them, or you will not promote them. You will not give them a transfer. You will not give them vacation leave, holiday with leave pay. You won't give them an increase in salary or any benefits, lunch allowance, uniform allowance, rent allowance, whatever the case may be, health benefits, insurance benefits, whatever benefits an ordinary employee receive, then the law says by virtue of Section 29, subsection B, that if you do that, then you would be in breach of the law. And I'm very confident that employers are more sensitive, they're becoming more aware, and please do not breach Section 29B. It also say that you should not dismiss an employee because they are a person of disability. Sometimes persons do not have any disability when they got the job, and then something happened. It could be on the job, it could be off the job, it could be totally unrelated. They could be at the plaza, they could be at home, they could be on the road, and some unfortunate, regrettable mishap occur. And those persons become a person with disability. The law says by virtue of Section 29C, you can't dismiss that employee just like that. It doesn't work like that, okay? You must not subject them by virtue of their disability to any other detriment without reasonable cause, okay? So if you're going to terminate, if you're going to refuse, you must have reasonable cause. Reasonable cause, right? So it says in Section 29, subsection 2, right? An employer shall not be regarded as discriminating against an employee where the different treatment is justified in the circumstances. In other words, an employee may want to do away with the services of a person with a disability, but they must show justification, lawful, reasonable justification. It could be that the person is not able to carry on that particular duty. It could be the person is not able to fit into any other work schedule or work description. And so you would have tried your utmost best to get that person to fit in. And unfortunately, it is not possible. And if that is the case, then you can show under Section 29.2 that you are justified based on the circumstances of the case. The employer will also be exempted if they can show that it cannot be avoided in the circumstances. So, having regard to any reasonable arrangements that may be implemented, again, the employer must take reasonable steps to ensure that the person who is an employee and who has a disability, whether on the job or it occur off the job, you must take reasonable steps. So, in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, employers, employees, please remember Section 29.1 and subsection 29.2. And what is it saying? Again, every employer, each and every employer, you must not discriminate against a person with a disability if they otherwise have the relevant certification or competence or skill set to do the job. If you exclude someone on that basis only, then I can tell you, you can be summoned before the court for committing a criminal offense. Do not allow the law to catch you. Do not allow a criminal sanction to be imposed on you. Do not allow a fine by the court to catch you. In terms of fine, it can be 500,000 up to $2 million. I don't think you want to throw away those monies, because I'm sure instead of throwing away those monies to the government in quotation, or giving away those monies, yes, I'm sure you'd want someone with a disability to benefit from those funds. Okay, time is money, money is time, and do not waste precious resources. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening, and that is Section 29 of the Disabilities Act that deals with employment. So I'm encouraging all employers, please, if you do not have someone in your employment as a person with a disability, the time has come. The Disabilities Act has been passed. It is working well. And there are several persons who have degrees, first degrees, master's degrees, other certifications, and they are competent to do the job. Let them feel that they are able. Do not let them feel that they are disabled. Take care. One love.
Before you go, sir, quick question for you. What about if you have the qualification and you go somewhere and they put out that they're taking in person, but all of a sudden they reach to you and you have your necessary qualification, but not to behave as if they're discriminating, they tell you that the vacancy is full. What do you do in a case like that? Because, I mean, the article is out there, you know?
Yes, an employer can tell a prospective employee that the vacancy is full.
Right.
They can do that if the vacancy is full, and even assuming that the vacancy is not full. But if the evidence points in the direction which shows that the vacancy is not full, and that the prospective employee can prove by some kind of evidence that they were discriminated against by virtue of the fact that they are a person with disability. If they can prove that, then the law will set it. All right. So an employer can, I would say, surreptitiously, yes, or clandestinely give that argument.
Yes.
Okay. But I hope their heart, their soul, their mind, and their conscience will be at peace with God when they give a false, misleading, and an untrue statement to a prospective employee that the vacancy is full, knowing fully well that it is not.
Right.
And that they exclude the person because they're a person with disability. So I'm warning everyone, based on Section 29 of the Act, right? You cannot exclude someone from employment on the basis primarily that they are a person with disability. You have to give some other reason, but you cannot tell them that the law is trying to make person with disability of equal standing, of equal ranking, and equal opportunity for all. Okay? Person with disability, they are humans.
Right.
They have a little limitation in terms of their sight or hearing or whatever, but there are those that are otherwise skillful and competent, far more than persons who are able-bodied in some areas.
Absolutely. Let me pick another one at you, right? The person is employed, they were working, but somehow a little disability came in place. Then all of a sudden a review done and deemed the person now as unfit. Yes. What do you do in a case like that?
well, it's a very good question, excellent question. And Section 31 of the Disabilities Act deals with it. And we did that last week, but for the benefit of persons. Right. It says where an employee has become disabled, whether by virtue of their employment, in other words, the disability occurred whilst they were being employed. It could occur on the job, or otherwise meaning it could have occurred at home, at on the road,
anywhere, randomly,
or anywhere.
Right.
Then if that person becomes a disabled person, right? Then the employee and the employee is no longer capable of carrying out their tasks required by their contract of employment, right? Then the law says that the employer should take reasonable steps to redeploy them. And redeploy mean that we can give them something else. I represented a policeman whose one of his leg was amputated, yes, as a result of a gunshot he received. And remember, he's a policeman. He was able to do attend court and do foot patrol. He was more on the foot patrol, but he became disabled. Okay, lost one of his leg, so you could not dismiss him. So what the police force did was to redeploy him and to put him in another era of the police force operation where he'll be of great use. And that's what the law is saying, that if a person becomes one with disability, you can't dismiss them or fire them or terminate your services. You have to redeploy them. And also their salary or their fringe benefits, their financial package cannot be less. It has to be the same. It has to be commensurate with the nature of their qualification. Okay? And that is what would answer the question. So all their benefits, if they were entitled to any benefits, vacation leave, departmental leave, sick leave, holiday with pay, maternity leave, rent allowance, any form of allowance, health insurance, whatever benefits they were getting under the contract. If they become disabled, then the employer cannot interrupt or interfere with those benefits. They have to continue. And Section 31 deals with that.
Let me pick another one at you. If the employer is an overseas employer, but you're in Jamaica and you work for them and you develop a disability while on the job, how do you deal with that situation? Because I know because of court system, judicial system, outer bound, how do you deal with that if you are the victim then, God forbid,
Well,
of a disability?
The most important thing, when you're doing contracts where one person is in one jurisdiction and the other person is in another jurisdiction, then I will say to persons with disability, and that what they should do is before they sign a contract, they should stipulate which law would govern, which country's laws would govern the contract. Is it the foreign country or the Jamaican laws? And if the Jamaican law is the jurisdiction that would take precedent in the contract, then it matters not if the employer is in Dubai, Africa, South America, England, or in a Caribbean country. So the key thing is for the employee to ensure that they execute a contract, and that contract should stipulate the country that will execute the breach of contract.
How can persons make contact to you?
Okay, and persons can make contact with me. I'm listed in the white pages and the yellow pages. My name is Anthony Williams, and I'm at the Trade Center on Red Hills Road, the Trade Center. My telephone number is 876-473-6275. That's 876-473-6275. And by email, you can email me at anthony.usimwilliams@gmail.com. Repeat, anthony.usimwilliams@gmail.com.
Thank you very much, sir. Another time again, for those who are just joining us, the Disability Act and me. What is it that you need to know? What are your rights? Whether you are a person with a disability, a person without a disability, you and I have rights. And as you heard from the various section and what was being read in terms of the Disability Bill or the Disability Act, if in case you were able-bodied and you were going about your business, but somehow just an unfortunate situation may just happen that cause to develop a disability, even then you still have your rights. But it's a matter of fact, it's how you go about it And again, I know sometimes when these things do occur and happen, a lot of times our frame of mind somewhat differs. And I do know that sometimes, God forbid, persons don't necessarily deal with the situation honestly, fear, and the list goes on. But just if in case you're just joining us on Disability Beyond Bother, there we hear from our lawyer who provide us with the necessary information. And again, we're here to educate. We're here to empower you, and we're also here to entertain you. So, of course, without any further ado, let me see if I can catch up with my co-host and hear what is it that she has to share with us today, Monday, and what she will let us be knowledgeable about, because again, knowledge is power. Over to you. Here
Hello,
comes my
everyone.
co-host.
Thank you for joining us on Disability Beyond Borders. This afternoon, we will be focusing on supporting students with the learning challenges in our environment. Now, this program is for both teachers and parents alike. You'll get insights as to the do's, the don'ts, and what steps are needed in order to have your child's needs catered to within the education system. So, as we focus on returning back to school, we are encouraged to pay attention not only to our children's um, physical aspect, but their academic performance, and of course, to identify signs if your child may be experiencing learning or developmental or maybe performance challenges. Now we have early identification and intervention, which can make a significant difference. As a parent, you may ask, what should I do if I realize that my child is struggling? So, if you realize that your child is having difficulties with reading, writing, math, it may be concentration, communicating, following instructions, or other areas, the first step that you should take is talking to your child's teacher. Now, if the child is underperforming at school or having any of these challenges, it is important that you speak to the child's teacher so that there may be relevant documentation or recommendations that will be given from the teacher or the school. Additionally, when you speak to the child's teacher may suggest for the child to be diagnosed. Now, this is if the child isn't already diagnosed. Now, if the child is required to get a diagnosis, then he or she can be referred to the intervention center that is in Granville, St. James. So it is on the campus of Samshire Teachers College. So you are required, if you are required, sorry, to get an assessment done for your child, there is a place to go. It is located at Samshire Teachers College in Granville, St. James. And of course, if your child has already been diagnosed, this is where you are required to provide the teacher with that information. Now, if you have already provided the teacher with that information, then the teacher would have been working alongside with the child. If you have not, now is a good time to provide that information so the teacher will know how best to help your child. Now, if your child has been diagnosed with a learning or developmental condition, one, you're going to speak to the teacher as early as possible. Two, you're going to ensure that relevant assessment reports or documentations are provided. So that includes getting your child assessed by the diagnostic center to see if the child has any learning difficulties or challenges. Thirdly, you need to discuss the child's strengths and the areas where additional support may be needed. So you as a parent can help that child while being at home. You may also be required to ask what accommodations, interventions, and other supports are available to help with your child. And of course, you have to maintain a good communication between yourself, the child's teacher, and the school to ensure that the child is getting the support that he or she needs. Here are some questions that you can ask your child's teacher just to ensure that your child is on the right path, or just to see if there are areas of improvement that are needed, or if your child needs to be diagnosed. So the first question you may ask is, what have you noticed about my child's learning? Is it that he's constantly out of his seat? Is it that he has a hard time remaining focused? Is it that he can read a passage but he doesn't comprehend what is read? You need to know what the teacher has noticed about your child. Secondly, what areas does my child seem to be struggling with? Of course, this is important because this will tell you how best you can help as a parent to improve your child's education. This is where you will come in, the at home assistance that is needed. Thirdly, what are my child's strengths? So you need to know the strengths, and you also need to know the weaknesses so you can work on it. What is currently available at the school? What support does the school have in place for your child? That is a question that should be asked. Does my child need further assessment? And that's an additional question. How can we work together to monitor my child's progress? That is the most important question, because we can't leave learning up to the teacher alone. It has to be a collaborative effort between home and the school. So this is where you get a viewpoint as to where your child is at and how best you can assist your child. Before we go, here are some important reminders for you parents. So first and foremost, avoid comparing your child negatively with other children. A child who takes long to read, struggles with mathematics, has difficulty concentrating, and learns differently may simply need a different approach to learning or an additional support. That doesn't necessarily mean that your child may have a disability. This is where we say get the assessment. So you want to get the assessment to make sure, rather than jumping to speculations or jumping to conclusions. As we prepare our children for another academic year, let us remember that every child learns differently. If you notice that your child is struggling, don't ignore the signs and don't be afraid to ask questions. Talk to the teacher. Inform the school if your child has already been diagnosed with learning or developmental challenges, and seek guidance from the school and from the Ministry of Education as needed. Early intervention, understanding, and support can help every child to have a better opportunity to succeed. And of course, this is it. We're looking in to disability beyond borders. And we are breaking the barriers, because this is where we provide you with insights to help with breaking the barriers. Over back to you, Mr. Blake.
Thank you very much and well said. And again, as we are being empowered and being educated at the same time, please remember, if your child return back to school come September, and just out of curiosity realize that the child is not keeping up in terms of the school work, whether for the first week, maybe the first week might be, them let them ear down a little bit, but after the second week, no, just to not be too quick to jump the gun. Give them at least the first 2 weeks. And if you observe that they're not coming in with homework and they're not too enthused about class and school, whether it's a new school, yes or no, just be on your guard as parent and just take the necessary precaution, because guess what? What you and I are able to teach our children are our future. And truth to be told, again, knowledge simple represent power. It represents autonomy. It represents that you are there, but not just having the knowledge, but you're executing it in the right way. And of course, after this segment, we should get on to our doctor to hear what she has to say to us medically. But you know what? Out of curiosity, Let's see if we can find Sir Simpson on the other side of the planet and hear what he has in store for us on the mentoring and upliftment corner. Then right after that, we will go to our doctor to hear what is it that she have in store for us this afternoon. And just if in case you are just joining us on Disability Beyond Border, again, you are listening to more 91.7, where we drive strong community energy, energy, energy. And with that said, we are going to take a quick little break. And of course, we'll be right back with Sir Simpson.
FM 91.7 on your dial.
Disability Beyond Borders, breaking all barriers through the power of inclusion. We highlight the incredible abilities and achievements of the disabled throughout Jamaica through our extraordinary talent exposure, mentoring, and uplifting corner with your host Tracy-Ann Williams and the radical Robert Blake. This and every Monday at 5 to 6 p.m. on 491.7 FM. Call us at 876-610-8104. That's 876-610-8104. Disability Beyond Borders, breaking all barriers.
All right, welcome back. Good evening, Sir Simpson. How is it on that side of the world?
Good evening, Sir Blake. Yeah, it's good. Side of the world is doing pretty well.
Awesome. Is it hot and
Wasn't
humid like what we have on this side of Jamaica?
Oh, it wasn't so hot today here.
All right.
You know we have Lala in one of the states, so it impacts a lot of places.
Oh, very
Hurricane Lala.
interesting. I haven't heard that
Yes,
news yet, but no, I understand. But what do you have in
yes.
store for us this afternoon?
All right, so this evening we want to look at becoming a genius.
Oh, really? No,
No,
that's a good topic.
yes.
I am
So
curious
we
too.
all have to first well recognize that we are geniuses
Right.
and that we are able to become bigger geniuses.
All right.
Now,
No.
how do we do that? So we have to set ourselves up. So if it is that you have a particular weakness now, you have to work on that first. If it's a reading issue, you work on it. If it's getting a skills, you work on it. If it's improving on your communication, you work on it. Now, who is a genius? Now, a genius is an individual who is able to think beyond the ordinary, who is able to think critically, who is able to a person who is able to understand people, understand self, extend empathy where necessary. Those are some common characteristics of a person who is a genius. Right? Now, how can we obtain all those skills? So we identify an institution that can help us to upskill, right? To build on what we have. What do I mean by that? So I'm going to go to heart. I'm going to I'm going to study food and beverage hosting. That will give me an opportunity to deal with people directly, entertain the customers, seating them, extending care, serving the food, taking the orders, making them smile, right? Making them leave the restaurant with a new look, with a better understanding of who you are, who they are, what this company is about. That is a genius. Now, uh, all, the question is asked a lot of time is that can everybody become a genius? And the answer is yes. Not all genius have PhD and doctoral degree, Robert, like you and I. Good.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, they are able to contribute at the level where they are. They are
Yes,
also geniuses because guess what? They are going to meet somebody that you and I with all those degrees will not be able to meet.
that is
Good.
true.
Yeah, because their various localities,
Right.
good, and can speak with the issue of that of those individuals. Good. They are genius because guess what? They can call upon us and say, okay, Dr. Blake, this needs to happen. I'm seeing this. I'm not able to manage it. What suggestion can you give me to extend to tell this individual? That's a genius. To
Right.
recognize that somebody needs help and reach out to get help for that person. Isn't that a genius?
Yes, it is because the person
Good.
didn't know and they know, and at least they were able to render some form of assistance. And again, one act of kindness.
That's good. So that is where I want our members to be. That is what we want Jamaica to be. So but guess what? We first have to be empowered and to take on the status of being what? A genius. Tell us that I am a genius. I can become a bigger genius.
Right.
Good. I can do something. I am worthwhile. I do have a purpose. Because we're geniuses, because guess what? We have a purpose. All of us here have a purpose. Good. And that's what we live by. That's what we want to extend to people every day. The fact that we are purposeful. Now you can be purposeful by doing all the things I just mentioned before. Good. And I mentioned a lot of things. Reaching out to people, seeking help, finding out what issues they have. You getting yourself upskilled or more equipped with knowledge so you can help people in your local communities. Go, you can show a difference. You can create an image for your community. You can make people look at the disabled community, for argument's sake, in a different light, in a better light. You can be the person who motivate an individual to say, look, don't keep him in the house, not because he's blind and not because he use a wheelchair. There are schools that he can go or that she can go to get some skills and contribute to the household. You might be that person, dear, and then you are, Mr. Blake, a genius. Good.
Absolutely.
This program that we all and giving you this information every week, the best we can in very simple form that we can. It means that we are genius.
Genius.
More FM
Absolutely.
is a station that is a genius.
Right.
Good. So guess what? Let us continue being geniuses. Let us continue being steward in the society. I told you last week that a steward is somebody who is responsible for something or someone. You take care of, and that's what a genius does. They are steward. We are taking care of the environment or some feature of the environment. And that's what we want to leave with you this evening. So be motivated. So if you think you're not a genius, I am telling you this evening without fear of contradiction, great, that you are a genius. Because guess what? I am a genius and nobody can take that from me. I am a genius and I will continue being a genius. And I'm telling you this evening that Mr. Blake is a genius. Sorry, Dr. Blake is a genius, right, Doc?
Yes, indeed.
Uh,
So we have to put the declaration out there, right?
Put it out there and let them know that we are what? We are doctors, all right?
Exactly.
Of education and psychology. So,
Right. Because we speak to
um,
your mind and we're here to
that is it.
educate you. And again,
Exactly.
once you're into media, you have the opportunity to speak to million, thousand. And again, we
Exactly.
really appreciate more 91.7 that
Very,
allow
very
us
much
the
so.
opportunity and give us this voice so you who are out there can see that here are two persons. They may can't see as how you see, but they are genius and nothing
Ah,
stop them. If I hear about two the hard way, this is it.
okay.
But
Good.
Sir Simpson,
Yeah.
let me give you the opportunity because I know something excited went on over the weekend, and I'm sure we may have listeners who are also tuning in through various parts of the world and so forth. And I'm sure we'd like to say a big shout out to some of them and thank you, and of course let them know what has been happening through other disability group that warrants us the privilege of doing something great that makes us bigger genius.
Good. Well, on Friday, very much so, we have the Cornwall Action Club, of which I'm the president. We had our cake sale on Friday, gone the 14th of August. The cake sale was very successful, and we made some money from the cake sale, and it wouldn't have been possible without our patrons. And we want to give a big thank you to all of you out there. And as Mama Lou said, Louis Bennett, hopefully. So a bonus thank you to all of our supporters, whether you buy a cake, whether you help us to do something. We wanted to say thanks and we appreciate it. The money is for a worthy cause. and please continue to supporting the Action Club and its mission. And when Dr. Blake takes over October 1, I'm going to ask that you give him the same support that you afforded me in my 10 years president for the past 3 years. So thanks again, and look out for us when we are coming for other projects.
All right, thank you very much, Sir Simpson. Persons who are
Good.
listening and they may want to reach out to you, how can they make contact to you, sir?
Okay, so they can WhatsApp 2876-279-3879. That's 876-279-3879.
And would you like to remind us, sir, some of the things that you do for those, those persons who might just be hearing us for the first time and have no idea of our accolades that we may carry behind our name and some of the other things that we may contribute in terms of education?
Okay, so I'm a teacher by profession, so I teach. I'm a psychologist by profession, so I do a lot of counseling. Great. I do assessment, psychological assessment. Great. Both in education and also as it relates to behavioral assessment. So those are pretty much my area. I'm also business oriented. I teach business, help people to manage business. Great. I'm a consultant. Great in terms of HR and all those things. So we are able to assist you to navigate your projects. If you want to start your small business, we're able to assist you to put that together. Great, but pretty much helping you with the kids, helping is to grow them properly, to curb their behaviors, and educating them, and to provide you with counseling so that you may be better parents.
All right, thank you very much. There you
You're
hear it
welcome.
from
Good.
Dr. Simpson, who is definitely not necessarily on this side of the island, but very faithful each week. We can rely on him as he come and impart to you and me knowledge that sometimes we can't afford. And guess what? When you hear it, you practice it. Because guess what? You and I must practice what we preach. All right, just in case you're just joining us on Disability Beyond Border, without any further ado, I'm going to see if I can find our doctor and hear what she has to say to us now. Because guess what? Your health is your wealth. Over to you, Doc.
It's Dr. Yachel Samuels Williams from Life Pack Wellness Center, and it is summertime. So now that it's summer, we have the children home and we're all trying to figure out what to do with them. So I'm going to help you to figure that out. The first thing is that the summer is very, very hot. It's one of the hottest summers across the world. And you're finding that your kids want to be hydrated. They're always visiting the fridge, trying to get something to drink. So what we need to do is ensure that when they drink, they're drinking mostly water. So what we try and do is ensure that we regularly send them to drink water. And what I'll say to my patients as well is, don't pack the fridge with all those sugary drinks, the juices and all of that. They'll be tempted every time they open that fridge door, every time they open the cupboard. The first thing that they're seeing is juice. Then it's going to be so much more difficult to get them to drink water. Put a lot of water around the place, let it be the first thing that they see. If they even do have a few juices, don't let it be too much. And you try and encourage them throughout the day to drink as much water and to keep hydrated. Okay? We also want to ensure that they're eating properly. So now that they're home, you'll find that they're hungry every single second. They're coming, they want snacks, they want something to munch on while they're playing. And most times what they'll ask for is sugar, or sweet stuff, or snacks. So they want things that are quick and easy. But a lot of these things come with health concerns. So what we want to do is to limit the number of snacks that the children have, limit the sugary stuff, limit the starchy stuff, limit the things that are full in fat and grease. So we try to have healthier options. You're having their nuts, you're having their fruits, you can blend some shakes. Do things outside of just the regular snacks that you'll have them get. Okay? And for the meals as well, ensure that they have their vegetable, ensure that they have a balanced meal. Okay? All right. Just as we were speaking before about the heat, time is so hot. So the children are out and about and they're playing, they're running up and down, they're producing even more heat. Then what we want to do is ensure that their clothes are as breathable as possible. So we're looking for light, airy clothes, light colors that breathe better, because we know that they're going to be running up and down and they're going to be generating all that heat. Try and keep the place as cool as possible. I know how hot it is. And for those children who are outside, we try and ensure that they have hats. So a wide brim hat would be excellent. And also use sunscreen. Even though most of the Jamaican population tends to be dark skin, it doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be using sunscreen. So yes, go for your sunscreen, something that has SPF of 30 or more, and then you use it as much as possible to help limit some of the exposure to the sun. All right? For those children, when they are not outside and know that they are inside, a lot of them are on some form of screen. So they're either on the television, on the tablet, on the phone, and it's screen time most times. So what we want to do is to limit that screen time. So for those of you who have a yard, then get them outside, get them playing, get them moving around, get them exercising. So that's good. So we get them exercising, but we ensure that they keep cool, right? If they're inside and they're gonna be on the screen, then try and see if you can limit the amount of screen time that they get. So cut down the time. Say, okay, we're doing an hour of screen time for the day, and try and put in some other activities. Okay, so they can do running up and down. They can play tag. They can plant things outside. They can do other things that don't necessarily need the screen. Or if they're inside, let them read some books. Let them paint. Let them draw. Let them do things that are fun, things that are exciting, that don't necessarily need a screen. So those are things that us as parents have to do. And what we can do, all these activities, we try and include ourselves in there. So our kids, they're always at school. We don't get to spend as much time with them. Now they're home. We can make the indoor activities a bit fun. When last have you played a board game with your child? When last have you sat down and read a book with them and just go through the different characters and just laugh? This is an opportunity. You can bake with your kids. You can do all kind of fun activities together. So this is something definitely that we should be doing. Okay? So also, because the time is hot, a lot of us and our children will be visiting some place that has water. So either we're going to go to the beach, we're going to the river, we're going to the pool, we're going somewhere because we want to cool down. Please ensure that your children are supervised when they go into water, because we do not want any incidents with our children. Okay? So be very careful. Ensure that whenever you bring your children anywhere where there's water, yes, we want them to cool down. Yes, we want them to enjoy themselves, but we want them to be safe. So we're going to always ensure that they are supervised. And then, apart from water, one of the fun places that we can go with our kids is the library. Yes. So let your child join a library and have them take out books. This is a fun experience. They can go read books, explore, learn new words, learn about other countries, learn about other cultures, and just expand their knowledge. So not because it's summer doesn't mean that it has to be a complete downtime. We can use it as a time to learn things outside of what is on the school curriculum. And also, even though your child will be out of school for these 2 months, it doesn't mean that we don't want to keep the brains sharp. So we'll encourage you to at least do 20 to 30 minutes of reading every day with your child. That kind of keeps them going, so they don't forget everything that they're doing in school. So it doesn't have to be a very long session, but something that's going to keep the mind engaged. 20 to 30 minutes of reading can go a very long way. So yeah, those are my tips for the summer as we try to enjoy the time with our kids and have them enjoy themselves before they go back to school in September. This is Dr. H.L. Samuels Williams, and I am from Life Back Wellness Center. And we're located at 92 Barnett Street in Montego Bay and also 18 Mullines Road in Kingston. You may contact us at 876-582-2829 or 876-326-8071. You may reach us on Facebook at Lifepack Wellness or on Instagram at Lifepack_wellness. So stay safe for the summer, have fun, enjoy yourself, but also take care of yourself. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you very much, Doc. There you hear it from Dr. William. And just some special announcement while we try to locate our person for Technology Corner. Again, let's hear what is coming up under the quick news buzzing era. Olympic, Special Olympic. Let's hear more.
All right, Mr. Blake. So you said let's hear more, and
Yes,
you're gonna
indeed.
get more.
There
So
it
Special
comes.
Olympics is coming up. I know that it's not just a Special Olympics for Jamaica. It's a Special Olympics Caribbean Regional Beach Games. All right.
Yes.
So this one is gonna be with a difference. So you can come on out and expect to see the unified men's basketball, female basketball, 7x7 traditional football, unified volleyball, open water swim run. So a lot of events happening.
Absolutely.
And guess where it will be taking place? Right here at Harmony Beach Park. And the activities will be from November 19th to the 21st. All right. So this is your opportunity to come down and see persons with disability doing their thing, and it's not gonna be just a Jamaican thing. It's a regional Caribbean
Yes.
game, Special
Absolutely.
Olympics Caribbean game. Mr. Blake?
Yes, indeed. And I'm looking forward to be there just to sit back in my rocking chair and look
No,
out
no,
and
no,
see
no,
what's
no, no.
happening.
They said it is gonna be it's a competition. So
Ah,
you know that you're gonna have to compete or
yes,
something
man. All
in one
right.
of the
So guess
games.
what? We're gonna run up our team so
You
we can get involved. Can you imagine the blind competing in volleyball? It's gonna be something that you need to see, right? Just like how we have a blind cricket team, you just
yes.
never can tell.
I watched that match because I put Mr. Rose to the challenge, I watched the match,
All right.
and it was quite fascinating to see
Yes.
persons who are, some of them
Totally
are not
blind, right?
totally blind, some are
Yes.
partially, but when we put them up, I mean, it was quite an awesome thing to see persons batting away. And Mr. Rose did say that I should give you some information that when he comes on this week,
All
he
right.
doesn't want to hear my voice. So over
Oh,
to you,
no,
Mr.
it's not
Rose.
mine you want to hear.
No,
It's
no, no,
yours.
no, 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 no.
I'm quite sure he doesn't want to hear mine. He'd be more interested in hearing yours.
Exactly.
Well, Sir
No,
Rose,
I
it's
was
all
talking
yours,
about
but
me.
we did watch that match.
Good,
It's all
good
over to
evening,
you,
folks. Good evening.
sir.
Good evening. I hope you guys are hearing me well.
Yes,
Yes,
loud and
we
clear.
are.
Um, good, good, good. So this evening I want to, give you guys some updates on the smart glasses.
Ah,
Now,
so like you're talking my
yeah.
language.
Well, I already speak English, I don't know what you hear.
Well, maybe you have to use the dialect that the diaspora can understand.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah, man, I'm looking at
So
that,
for
Oh,
yes, man.
we said
Yes, man.
chat about, right?
All right, sir. All right. So as I've told you guys before, that the smart glasses market is heating up
Yeah, man, it's a
because
boom.
there are go again.
No, me say it market a boom.
Yes, man, it's heating up. Smart glasses have become a trend now.
Yes,
Because no longer you have to take out your phone in public. No longer you have to take out your phone to make a call or if you take a picture. You can do it with your glasses on your face, right?
that's interesting. Tell us.
Right. So as I've said before, the Meta Smart glasses are the most popular ones nowadays. But we have discovered an issue that the Meta wants like
the Caribbean governments and stuff to grant them rights so that they can provide things, some of the services in these areas. So you may find that if you buy a metal glass, it may not work. Like your look and see and stuff like that won't work. That is why I am saying if you're gonna buy a smart glasses, wait until in the fall when the Google glasses come to town, because Google they are not going to um, need any rights and stuff so that you can get all the features. They will provide the features because Google don't depend on subscription to make money. They depend on ads and stuff like that.
Right.
And right. So when they drop their glasses, I guarantee you that you will have more access to stuff that you don't have now with the meta glasses. Of course, you're going to be able to use the Gemini Live, right? So I can be walking and Gemini telling me what me seeing and stuff like that, or I can take a photo and Gemini describe the photo right on the spot for me and stuff like that. So just saying, if you're going to buy your glasses, hold on a little bit, man. Hold on. October not too far.
Right. Another 2 months roughly.
Yes, man. And I guarantee you, because I have a lot of friends now who have the meta glasses, and some of the stuff they can't get. And when they contact Meta, it's like they're saying, hey, we need the rights to certain things in the Caribbean, and if we don't get those, then we can't provide certain things. Right. So yeah, that's where it is.
All right. Is there any particular name for the Google glasses, and what about the others, like from Envision and Orcam, and I think there's another one that is actually coming out that is directly for blind person. Are we hearing anything on those and the services? I know they're more upscale and more expensive.
Right. That's why I never really mentioned it, because some of those glasses are really out of reach for some of us pocket.
Right.
So like Robert, you probably can buy two and and give you one, but
a lot of those get some free one. Trust me upon that one. We'll get somebody Alice Solar one. The one that more like a sunshade.
Alice Solar. Yeah. That's from Envision. Yeah. That's a little meager $600.
Yeah. And if we buy more than one, we might can negotiate the price.
Can get it on. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Man. You're thinking big, man. I like that.
Yeah, man. But we need to have that, because we need to show more independence. We need to let the government and the system understand that we too want to be a part of what is happening. We can't say inclusion, but then somehow we're not feeling like we're being included. There's something has to be wrong with that picture.
That is why I'm proud to say that we now have a disability advocate in the person of Mr. Alistair McLean. And these are some of the things that he'll be lobbying the government to say, hey, because he uses the technology, he knows all about it. So when it comes to sit at the table and explain these things to persons in government, he'll be a very good person to do such things. So it's very good that we have a disability advocate now, and I know that he will represent us well where that is concerned.
Absolutely, and of course, kudos to Sir McLean, and of course, we also on this side will be giving him the necessary support, because
yes, man.
There's strength in something called numbers.
Yes, man.
And that's exactly the more the better. And that's exactly what we want. But is there any new apps that is buzzing right now that you can share with us?
Not right now. They don't. I think everybody gone back in the lab right now.
Okay.
So yes, man. But
all right. But I do hear something through the grapevine. Maybe you can help me. I know Google's supposed to come out fully with some major upgrade, and I do also aware that Siri also should be coming out with their upgrade, but I'm having a look hiccup with the Apple ecosystem, because certain phones that we have, we won't necessarily get that upgrade.
Yes, sir. That is it. No, and that is the thing. That is why I am not really a fan of Apple, right? Because if me have a 10 or 11 or a 12, I probably won't get
you're well outdated.
right? So what they do, they force you to get these upgraded gadgets
Yes.
and stuff. While Google if they're rolling out something, them
Right
roll it
across
out
the
that
board for
everybody get
everybody.
it.
Yes.
Right. It's for Apple, and yeah, it's business. But
Right.
sometimes you have to give and take, because that is why Google is so popular, and Google continues to lead the market where that is concerned. 'Cause Google knows if them put out a new product, them know say, because they are so popular, them not have to charge a fee. Because once they run them ads, they are bound to make money.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, sir. How can persons make contact to you? And of course, for those who are listening for the first time, can you explain to us what's your position and what is it that you actually do?
So I am the information and the training officer at the Jamaica Society for the Blind, and that includes me getting information out to my clients, rather by social media, WhatsApp, or whatever it may be. I'm also a trainer in that I do smartphone training on the Android side, and I'm also the teacher for a basic computer course. Now, if you want to get in touch with me, just hit me up, 876-447-6803. That's 447-6803.
Anything on the social media platform?
Uh, it's DJ Kane everywhere, because I'm also a disc jock. I'm also a audio editor. I'm a music producer. So if you want anything on that side, hey, hit me up.
All right, there you hear it from Zamian Rose again. Of course, he did say he is a disc jock, meaning, of course, he's on some international radio station, more internet based. And of course, he's also saying that if in case you need to put your voice and add some music to it, for whatever the reason is, he can also help to produce you in that way. And of course, at the Jamaica Society for the Blind, just in case you missed that part, he's also the information and technology specialist, where he does training in basic computer, such as email, such as understanding JAWS or the screen reader, how the computer itself operates. But not only just that, on the smartphone devices, especially your smartphone, mostly, as he said, on the Android platform, he'll definitely teach you, as person who is blind or low vision, how you and I are able to use these smart devices, whether it's the phone, whether it's the tablet, whether it's the computer, even the glasses, and others by extension, is able to provide the necessary training and provide you with the information. And of course, just if in case you are just joining us for the first time on More 91.7, where we drive strong community energy, this was your program called Disability Beyond Border. And again, to all our friends, families, and fans, of course, without you, and of course, I always use the opportunity to big up More FM, because without them, you would not be able to hear us, and through them, it gives us a voice. And I can proudly say, right across the length and breadth of Jamaica, it's the only radio station that provide persons with disability access, so we are able to speak loud and proud and bring you information, whether local or international. Again, please bear in mind our announcement, and this is how we leave you, and we say adios. See you same place, same time. Don't change that dial.
Disability Beyond Borders, breaking all barriers